Hey everybody, I just wanted to get on here for a minute and talk about different. This has been on my mind really since last year and about doing things differently. I always talk about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So, are we doing things different? Like this year, beginning of the year, we know people wrote out New Year's resolutions. Great. Have you done things differently since you wrote those? Or are those resolutions the same ones you wrote last year that you didn't accomplish? Why didn't you accomplish them? Because maybe you didn't do anything different. You want to stop being broke right now. You got to spend money differently. You got to think about money differently. If you're not, you'll continue to be broke. When it comes to schools, you want better grades. Study differently. Change the study group that you have. Change your approach. Change the way you listen in class. You have to do things differently because once again, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. You have to do something different. Relationship wise, if you want a better relationship with your spouse, your significant other, do something different. If you're not happy where it is, change it. Do something different. You want to go through and have some personal growth. Do something different, as well as changing the people that you're around. Because if they're happy with where you are, then you become happy with where you are. So change the people to get a different perspective on what's going on. Same thing with that. You have a dream, you have a vision, you have a goal that you want to accomplish, but you're not doing anything about it. It's just a vision. It's just a goal. It's just a dream because you haven't put anything behind it yet. Do something different. But hey, if you're happy with where you are, don't change anything. Maintain exactly where you are. But if you want different for yourself, do different. When it comes to your resolutions, once again, you know me, I'm not really about the calendar. It's about when you're ready to make that mindset change is when you go in and activate it. So when you're ready to make that change, do something different. Write it down differently. Think about it differently. Approach it differently. We know it didn't work. Now do something different and see if this works. If you want to stop being broke, stop spending money. Figure out how to invest it better. Figure out how to make it last longer. Figure out your wants and your needs. Downsize. Whatever you need to do, but you have to once again change everything up here. Grade-wise, I mentioned that before. In school, if you want something different, do something different. Change your circle, change your outlook, change the way you listen, change the way you write notes. Stop using ChatGPT all the time. I'll say that again. Stop using ChatGPT all the time because it's thinking for you, which means now your brain isn't working as much because all you're doing is telling the chat what to do, and it's doing it for you. Put some effort into it for yourself. Once again, do something different in your relationships. I know some people that have types. If that type ain't working out for you, change it. And once again, that vision, that goal, you can't be mad if somebody else is doing what you thought about doing. Get it done. Stop thinking about it and put some action behind it. I know sometimes you say, oh, the timing's not right. It's never going to be right. Never. Because you're always going to find a reason not to do it. Just do it. When you think about it, act on it. Make that thing happen. It's the one thing, I think it was last week I was listening to something, and it was talking about how your brain works. When you have a thought, like your dream, your goal, or whatever, or something that you want to accomplish, we get into that procrastination mode. Well, it's something that actually happens naturally for us because what we end up doing is we have that thought. And if we don't act on that thought immediately, what ends up happening is our brain now begins to process that. And now it begins to analyze the pros and cons and what those results are going to look like. It happens real fast. So it goes from, thinking about it, okay, here's that 1 second. In 10 seconds, we've run through 50 different scenarios as to why it will or it won't work. And what do we focus on? We always focus on the why it won't work versus why it will work. That's another thing we have to do different, is look at the positive outcomes versus the negative outcomes and work on those, focus on those, instead of always thinking doom and gloom. So there really much I wanted to go through and talk about, but I just want us to go through going forward and just do things differently, think differently, act differently, behave differently, do different. Once again, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. Do something different to get something different. It's that simple. That's where my mindset is as well. Is you have to do things differently. That procrastination, that fear, whatever it is, get rid of it. Overcome it. Do something different. Be blessed, be active, be a doer, and do something different. Ready, set, go.